I'm 53 now. For most of my life, I lived in a world of quiet order. Folded linens, polished floors, friendly waves from passing neighbors. I believed love had its season, and mine had already come and gone. My husband walked out a few years ago. Since then, life's been still. Not sad exactly, but missing something vital. Then something happened. Something small at first. Ordinary. But it shifted everything, like a fault line quietly opening beneath your feet. It was a Thursday morning. The kind with thick clouds and that damp summer warmth clinging to your skin. I had just stepped out of the shower, my hair dripping down my neck, wrapped in my old maroon robe. Faded, too short, the belt barely holding on after years of wear. I wasn't expecting company. I was enjoying the silence, sipping coffee at the kitchen window, letting myself just be. Then there was a knock. 3 soft taps. Froze. Who knocks at 9:30 in the morning? Barefoot, I padded across the tile, tugging my robe a little tighter, and peeked through the side window. It was Jonah, the neighbor's son. Tall, slim, probably 23 or 24. His mom, Ruth, had mentioned he was back for the summer. I'd seen him a couple times mowing her lawn with earbuds in, shirt off, completely unaware of the woman watching from behind the curtains. Cracked the door. Jonah. Everything okay? He smiled. That sweet, hesitant smile young men wear before they've grown into themselves. Hey, Ms. Ellis. Sorry for showing up so early. My mom's out and I, locked myself out of the house. Out of your place? Asked, blinking. Yeah. I was taking the trash out and the door closed behind me. Tried calling her, but she's not answering. I looked down, bare legs, damp hair, robe slipping, and hesitated. But there was something so genuinely sheepish in his expression. No leer, just embarrassment. All right, come on in, I said. Just keep your eyes up, soldier. He laughed nervously and stepped inside, careful not to look too long. I brought him into the kitchen, poured him some coffee, and tried not to notice how much older he looked since I last saw him. Broader shoulders, damp hair, that white tee sticking just a bit to his chest. So, I said, leaning on the counter, didn't pick up your mom's knack for hiding a spare key? He chuckled. She keeps it in a fake rock, but I swear she moves it every week. Sounds like Ruth, I replied, and we both laughed. The silence afterward wasn't awkward. It was thick with curiosity, like we'd both just realized we were standing at the edge of something neither of us expected. My robe had loosened slightly. I adjusted it. His eyes dipped down just briefly before darting away. Sorry, he mumbled. It's all right, I said, offering a small smile. You're not the first man to look, just maybe the youngest. That made him laugh a little too loud, a little nervously. Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to be rude. You weren't. Talk about college, his classes, his uncertain plans. Then something shifted. As he stood to refill his coffee, he looked at me and said, You look really good, Ms. Ellis. It wasn't the words. It was the way he said them, like he'd been holding them back for years. I didn't speak right away. Just watched him. His hands trembled slightly. His face flushed. Jonah, I said softly. That's kind of you. He turned, eyes open, vulnerable. I know it probably sounds dumb, but I always thought you were beautiful. Even back when I was a teenager. There was a pause. Charged. I wasn't just a woman in a robe anymore. I wasn't invisible. And I knew whatever this was, it mattered. I stepped closer and gently touched his arm. Let's sit a minute. We moved to the living room. The robe that once felt like comfort now felt like a question. We sat, a cushion of space between us. Jonah leaned forward, both hands cradling his mug like it held courage. I didn't want to make you uncomfortable, he said. I've wanted to say that for a long time. I remember visiting with my mom. You always smelled like vanilla. Wore those soft sweaters. You smiled at me like I mattered. I swallowed hard. I remembered. That quiet boy with messy shoelaces and sad eyes. His dad was long gone. Ruth did her best. "You're not that boy anymore," I said, surprised at my own words. He looked at me, something deeper than desire behind his gaze. "And you're not just the neighbor who offered cookies. What am I then?" "I don't know. Someone I've always wanted to talk to. Someone who seems like she has whole worlds behind her eyes." I looked down. It's been a long time since I've felt seen like that. Silence followed, but not empty. I reached for his hand without thinking. His fingers were warm, unsteady, but they held mine like they belonged there. "I don't know where this is going, Jonah," I said quietly. "But I'm not afraid of it." "Me neither." We sat there in that weighty calm, the air thick with heat and something new. He shifted closer. His hand brushed my knee, softly, deliberately. I didn't move. I just looked at him, something like awe rising in my chest. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Of course. Why did you let me in?" His voice cracked a little, like he'd surprised even himself. I smiled faintly. "Because I needed to remember what it felt like to let something in." He nodded, lifted my hand, kissed it gently. Nothing more. No promises. But something had clearly begun. Jonah stayed a little longer. We talked about everything and nothing. His graduation plans, my time at the library, the rhythms of quiet lives. I changed out of the robe into jeans and a soft blouse, but the shift between us had already happened. When his phone buzzed, he stood reluctantly. "My mom's on her way back." I walked him to the door. He touched the frame. "Thanks for letting me be here." "Thank you for seeing me," I replied. The house felt changed after he left. Not lonelier, just awakened. Over the next few days, I caught myself brushing my hair more carefully, wearing lipstick for no reason, pausing by the window longer than necessary. Then Saturday came. I was trimming the roses when I heard footsteps on the gravel. "Hey," he said, voice low. Turned. Dark green tee, jeans, that same soft nervous energy. "You lock yourself out again?" I asked, half smiling. "Nope. Not this time." "Then what brings you here?" He stepped in closer. "I couldn't stop thinking about you. I know it might sound crazy and I know I'm younger, but I meant what I said. I've spent my whole life surrounded by noise. Fast-talking people chasing things. But you make room. You slow the world down." My chest tightened. "Jonah," I began. "I'm not asking for anything," he said. "I just wanted to see you again. And to say that it matters to me." I stepped toward him. "Close now." "You're not a kid," I said. "And yes, there's something here. But it's fragile. And I've spent a long time avoiding anything I couldn't control." He lowered his eyes. "I don't want to hurt you. And I don't want to end up hurt either." Then I brushed a strand of hair from his forehead. The gesture held more than it should have. "I'm not ready to define this," I said. "But I'm not ready to let it go either." "Would you want to go for a walk?" he asked, hopeful. "Just talk." "I'd like that." He turned, then paused. "You smell like roses." "Because I was fighting with one," I laughed. He smiled and walked away. And I stood there, holding the rose clippers, heart pounding in a rhythm I thought I'd forgotten. That evening, as the sun turned the sky golden, I stepped onto the porch. I wore a simple cotton dress. Nothing fancy. Just me. Jonah showed up with 2 lemonades and a boyish grin. "You always this prepared." Tease. "I owed you a proper visit." We walked down the neighborhood trail that curved along the creek. Talked about nothing, everything. Sat on a bench under an old sycamore. The light wrapped around us like a soft blanket. "I didn't think coming home would mean anything," he said. "But being near you, it's the first time I've felt real in a long while." "When my husband left, I told myself I was done feeling," I whispered. But you cracked something open in me. He looked at me, eyes full of kindness and something more. I don't want to ruin this. You haven't, I said. And then he took my hand again. Let him. I wanted to. I don't know what happens next, I said. Me neither. But I want to find out, with you. I leaned into him. Rested my head against his shoulder. No grand declarations. Just a small beginning full of truth. And as we walked back together in the dusk, I felt something bloom quietly inside me. Hope. The honest kind. The kind you don't expect, but welcome with open arms.